I'm at the entrance to Brew Dog's Lost Forest, and I'm about to head up the Burma Road and see what's happening. I've photographed this spot many times before, showing the difference at first, when I first photographed it, between the fenced woodland on the right, which is thick and flourishing, and the unfenced opened hill on the left. But a change that has happened, as you can see here, is that there are now masses of young birch springing up in the unfenced area, which must be due to a reduction in the deer numbers. And this, of course, is regeneration. This is not due to any replanting. This is looking up the Burma Road, which you can see a bit up on the right, towards the area where there's only a few old Scots pine woods left, and there were some seedlings before Brew Dog took the estate over, and it's much further up than here that they've been planting to try and create a forest. And a bit higher up, start seeing self-seeded Scots pine as well as birch growing out of the heather, though the most noticeable plant that wasn't here in huge abundance before is bracken. This is a view back down the Burma Road, which you can see centre left cutting across the hillside, the cairngorms in the distance, cotton grass and bracken in the foreground, and woods below. I'm now getting above the point where there's been much regeneration. Old pines on a skyline. There are probably some young ones around them, but I can't see them from here. Higher up still, and the cotton grass is in full bloom, and there is masses of it spread out across the hillside. Scottish Woodlands, who are managing the site for Brew Dog, have built long fences across the hillside, which is a shame. This used to be an open hillside. You could walk, and in winter when there was snow especially, ski anywhere. Now there are these long high deer fences, which aren't necessary, because if they'd simply reduced deer numbers and left the forest to regenerate, you wouldn't need them. You only need to keep out the deer if you're not going to reduce deer numbers, and you want areas in which the forest can be planted and will regenerate. This is the top of the Burma Road, where it starts to drop down to the River Dunane. I'm going to turn away from the road now and head up Geal-charn Mor, which is up there. On the summit of Geal-charn Mor, there's a cold wind up here, and a heavy shower has just passed over. If I squint round, you can see it's produced a distant low-level rainbow way down there below where I am. On the way up here, I could hear lots of golden plover making their single note call before they flew away when they saw me. Here's a close-up of the low-level rainbow. I'm walking along the path on the opposite side of the glen from the Burma Road. This is an older footpath that contours more round the hillside than the Burma Road. The rain has stopped for the moment, and in fact I'm getting quite warm with this rain jacket on, so I'm probably going to need to take it off soon. Though I'm not sure whether I'll get back into the wind fairly soon. But out of the wind, it's quite warm. There's still a bit of drizzle coming down though, so maybe I'll take my very thin mid layer off and keep the waterproof on. I'll wait and see. I'm not as hot, of course, because I'm walking downhill now as opposed to uphill. Anyway, we'll see what happens around the next corner. Much of the hillside is dull brown heather, and quite a few of the areas that are usually boggy are dry. However, this little spring is still flowing and surrounded by brightly coloured moss. This is the view down to Loch Alvie, and swinging round is another section of rainbow as a squall has just passed overhead just after it. A more full rainbow now, and swinging round you can see Loch Alvie, and up there thick clouds over the Cairngorms. And the rainbow again. Planted trees with a rainbow and rain falling heavily. I have my waterproof back on again. After the heaviest shower yet, a really intense rainbow over Loch Alvie, and fading away as it curls up into the clouds. But the lower part, by Loch Alvie, is really bright. Back at the start, last part of the walk was a mixture of sunshine and showers. I put my waterproof jacket back on, some of the showers were heavy, but there were some more lovely rainbows. Anyway, it's been a very enjoyable walk in mixed weather.